All right, welcome back to our last section for the chapter 5 turning effect of forces. We'll talk about stability. Okay, I hope you are stable after your long home-based learning session. I hope you are perfectly fine at home. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so when we talk about stability, stability refers to the ability of an object to return to its original position after it has been tilted slightly, displaced slightly, or being moved slightly. So these are the three types of equilibrium. First, stable. I move this a bit here. It comes back to its original position. Unstable. I move this a bit here and it falls off. Unstable. Neutral. I move this a bit here and it moves at the same height across. That's neutral. So these are the three types of equilibrium. So what do they mean? Stable. What we want to take a look here itself is first we look at the center of gravity. Okay, we look at the height of the center of gravity. So in this case here, the height at the start is based on this line, and thereafter we want to monitor how it goes. So when it's stable, when the object is tilted, the center of gravity rises and then falls back down. So can you see originally the center of gravity is here. Now the center of gravity is slightly higher. Okay, then what happens after that? It falls back down again. Why? Because your line of action, where is the line of action? Remember, this is your weight. Let me clean this up first. Okay, so when this is your weight, your line of action is basically tracing the weight force itself. This line is within the base. So where is the base? This is the base. This is the base. Okay, your line of action is still inside the base area. So if it's inside, what will happen? This here is the pivot. Okay, this will come down. Can you see that it will cause it to have a turning effect of clockwise, anti-clockwise? Yeah, anti-clockwise. So it has an anti-clockwise moment. The weight will cause the cone to return to its original position. So if you can satisfy this criteria, where the center of gravity rises and then falls back down, the line of action of the weight lies inside the base area, it will have an anti-clockwise moment, then it is considered as a stable equilibrium. It does not have to be anti-clockwise, it can be clockwise, so long as it returns to its original position. Unstable equilibrium. So now when an object is tilted, here, take a look at this. So this line here is the reference line for where the center of gravity is. Center of gravity falls. So 1 minute it's here. After it's tilted, can you see that it has fallen down? It's no longer at the black color line. So the line of action of weight lies outside the base area. What do I mean by base area? So where's the base now? The base area is just here. Sorry. The base area is just here. Very small area. This is the base area. Very small area. Immediately, this line of action is outside the base area because the base area is so small. This will give a clockwise direction because now the pivot is here. Clockwise direction and a clockwise moment about the point of contact, and then it will topple, so your center of gravity keeps falling lower and lower and lower. So this is what we call as an unstable equilibrium. Next, neutral. Center of gravity neither rise or fall. So now this is the reference line. Once we move the cone, you realize that the center of gravity is still at the same height. That's the first one. Lines of action, they meet, W and R. R is your normal contact force. They will meet at all points of time, and there is zero moments because it doesn't turn about the pivot. So that is for neutral. Next, how can we increase the stability? There are two methods. Number one, you want your CG to be as low as possible, center of gravity to be as low as possible. Next, you want your area to be as wide as possible. So just take, for example, the sumo wrestler. The sumo wrestler will bend down, keep his body low, spread his leg wide far apart before he engage in the wrestling with the other sumo wrestler. So exactly the same, okay? We want to have a low center, keep ourselves low, keep our legs as wide as possible so that there's a wide area of base. So example for the car, a race car, example like a Formula One car, you can see that the car is very low. The center of gravity is very low. It has a low center of gravity. It has a wide body. So this car itself have a very, very big base area. All right, it has a very wide body, makes it more stable, able to turn at high speeds. That is what they want. Okay, now we have two classes. The base area is about the same. This is the base area. Base area is about the same. Which is more stable? This is more stable. Why? Because it has a lower center of gravity here, center of gravity. Or whereas for a champagne glass, the center of gravity is slightly higher. Okay, so champagne glass is less stable because it has a higher CG. Okay, so which of the following blocks will result in the most stable configuration? Remember two things: low CG, wide base area. But the base area here are all the same, so base area we can not think about it. Let's look at low CG. Keep everything as low as possible. Yeah, answer is B. Explain why a container ship usually loads the heaviest containers onto the bottom of its hull. That means why do we load all the heavy stuff at the bottom? Familiar? Heavy. We want to make everything the center of gravity as low as possible. So by loading the heaviest containers at the bottom, this lowers the center of gravity of the ship. It makes it more stable and is less prone to toppling. So remember, always bringing center of gravity to explain why things become more stable. Okay, so we have an object here. It's tilted about a pivot here. So they're asking, so where is the center of gravity, and is this stable, unstable, or neutral? So center of gravity is in the geometric center of the object. Okay, center of gravity. So this is the weight. Okay, yeah, it's drawn in. So let me remove mine. This weight itself, there's a pivot here. Weight itself, it will give a clockwise moment. Why clockwise moment? Because the pivot is here. This is the perpendicular distance. It will cause it to turn in a clockwise manner. So when the object is tilted slightly, center of gravity will rise. So imagine if you tilt this up towards the left, center of gravity will rise. The line of action of the weight still within the base area. Remember just now we talked about this, within the base area still, means it's stable, produce a clockwise moment, causes the cone to return to its original position. As such, it has stable equilibrium. So that's all about turning effect of forces, basically how things turn. We talk about moments, clockwise, anti-clockwise. We balance it off using the principle of equilibrium, principle of moments. And we talk about stability, center of gravity. Yep. So basically, this is for the topic of chapter 5. Easier? All right. Let's do some practice then.